Hello, YouTube. It is Road to Recovery, and I am back. It's been a little while. Today, I wanted to talk about a diet of all things. I had recently had a conversation with my sponsor, and unfortunately, he's been having a serious medical condition that he's dealing with. And it was so serious that it actually kind of struck me because the last year I've been having to deal with a lot of life challenges. And I've been feeling tense, like I've been feeling like pressure in my chest and stuff like that. And I've gone to the doctor about it in the past, and I've been afraid to go back again. Um, his, his, I'm not talking about my sponsor's problem is so severe that it could really impact his life. And when the conversation had happened, I immediately said to myself, this has to end. Like his conversation, talk about higher power. I feel like higher power was speaking to me through him. Sorry to make it about myself. But while I felt terrible for his situation, it was also speaking directly to me about maybe I need to start making some changes to myself before I end up in his situation. So I immediately decided that after I got off the phone call with him that I was going to go on a diet. And I wasn't going to mess around this time. Like I was going to go immediately into regulating my carbohydrate intake. So it's basically a ketogenic diet, low carb. And I had gone on one in the past, like maybe about 10 years ago when Atkins was a big thing. And it was effective in helping me lose weight. Now, I've never had serious weight issues, but I've had a very blessed metabolism. Like I could eat like total crap, and I hardly ever put on weight. Right. So when I do put on weight, it's usually a short-term deal for me. However, there's not to say that there weren't other effects, and I have ADHD. I've talked about this on the channel in the past, and I've never really put together that my ADHD may have a dietary component. We know it's all neurological, right? And the same could be said about my addiction, right? That these things seem separate. ADHD, habitual pornography use, and the food that you put inside of your body. They seem like separate things in their own containers, but realistically, they're not, right? Diet influences how you process information through the breakdown of food. So, when we're breaking down a complex carbohydrate and it turns into, various sugars inside of the blood, that impacts your insulin levels, affects your moods, behaviors. And for somebody with ADHD, there is actually a lot of research out there that would seem to indicate that monitoring and controlling the glucose levels inside of your blood actually can help you performance-wise, whether it's like in your in just the feeling of being energetic, fatigue levels, the highs and lows that we might experience throughout any day. And me being an ADHD guy, the highs and lows are part of the routine, right? I'm constantly like, hey, squirrel, I will jump from one thing to another, but I'll also occasionally crash and feel really tired and unmotivated to do things. And that plays into my general pornography problem because I tend to hyperfocus. And then when I was, active in my addiction, I would want to be in that space for not just minutes, but hours, constantly satiating myself. Which is, the bulk of my channel here is what I talk about. So 2 weeks ago, I go into this diet, and I am immediately, like instantaneously, feel different. And it's not because I'm denying myself foods that I would normally like. I feel different. My normal bounciness, I kind of say that Tigger from Winnie the Pooh is kind of like my spirit animal because inside my mind, I kind of feel like that. I'm a bouncy type of person. that bounciness went away. I'm not going to say I was more like Eeyore. I was probably more balanced someplace. I don't know, Piglet. Uh, I didn't have that impulsiveness inside of my normal activity structure that I always am struggling with to kind of maintain. Okay, you got to focus on this now. It kind of leveled off a bit. I told my wife a couple of days after I'd been in this diet that something about me has changed. I feel different. I feel different. This is not the same me that was 2 days ago. I just am not thinking the same way. And this is going to be a work in progress for me, but I'm reflective now about how important diet may actually be in my own recovery process, that perhaps I should be really leaning into this a lot more and allowing the benefits as they arise to kind of help me out. But also, if I see long term that this is going to be beneficial for me, you might see me starting to advocate more and more for, hey, let's talk about your diet. Well, that's all I got to say. I feel good about being in front of the camera. Like I said, it's been a while. I don't even know if I've jumped on since the beginning of the year. So, I'm due for this. My name is Road to Recovery, and this is part of my recovery work. This is me exercising my 12th step. I do this because I went through all the pain and suffering of being a porn addict. And yes, there is pain and suffering. I'm here for reaching out and saying that you can do better. You can push past this thing that's holding you down. And the thing that's holding you down feels good. It's why it's a trap. I'm here to help you get out. Please like, share, and subscribe. Helps me get the work out. I make no money on this channel. This is not an exercise in me monetizing. This is an exercise in me exercising my own spirituality by giving back to the addict who still suffers. Thank you, and take care.